Hey guys, good morning. It's Henez again for another progress video. I'm back with the tiles I was working on before, so I've done a bit of work. I have a few more tiles here. I've got duplicates of my prison bricks, but they're great. The idea is to turn this, what was going to be like a forest, it's looking more towny, so I thought, oh, I'll make a town out of it. And the town is useful to develop because it's a good place to put peoples, and peoples gives us a chance to add talking functionality, shops, menus, other kinds of stuff, you know, a little hub. I've got this like rock road here. Now this I shamelessly pulled directly from Dragon Warrior 3, maybe? This must be the NES version. It looks NES. Yeah, I said in the last episode I don't like doing this, but man, the first thing I attempted today was just draw like a footpath, and it just wasn't looking good, so I conceded. So we'll have to change that later, but you get the idea. Even my own one's gonna be a variation of rocky stuff. Don't judge me. And then I've got some interior, like a tinder flooring here. I had a hard time with the coloring, so I kind of matched it to be like the very I don't know, man, it's all pink, so it's kind of like a pink wood, which doesn't really make sense because the actual trees have brown wood, but I don't know, maybe they like outsource their timber floorings. And a little table thing, very much also like, yeah, something like this, you know. It's just a table. And what I did was, well, besides that, here it comes. Whoa, check that out. I just mocked up kind of a little town. In terms of the size, I went to my prison, and in my prison I've got this screen, which like represents the view area, and I thought, well, the town doesn't need to be that big, it can be quite compact, so I was like, well, I'll just do like 2x2 screens. So that's how I got the size of the town. It's actually 2x2 screens with one extra layer on the bottom so that my trees didn't get cut off. You can see I've bordered them with the thick trees in the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest kind of style, which looks alright. I wasn't too happy with the trees originally, but everything looks better when you actually put them in practice, you know. So that's why I try not to nitpick too hard with the stuff I do here. It's really like how it goes with everything else, and I'm quite happy with when I put everything together. It is very Dragon Quest town like, Dragon Warrior town. Do I have a bigger picture than this? I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't really think I do. Yeah, this is the very old style of doing towns, like the buildings. Another option was to do buildings like Final Fantasy, where they like don't actually take up much space at all. They're purely for the functionality you get of going in them. But I like the Dragon Quest, so you can walk around the houses, interact with the people. Another possibility is that in the game, over the roofs, I actually draw like I can do like a flat color pretty easily, and then when you open the doors I don't have yet, and you go inside, it like removes the roof, and I can also like black out everything else around there. But for now I'm quite happy with this. You kind of enter through the stairs and exit through the other stairs, and they both go down, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I figure that for the demo version there won't really be an overworld to begin with. It'll kind of just be like you start in the prison, there's limited stuff there, some chests, some encounters. You come to the town, which is you go up the stairs to the town, and then this is where you set up your characters, and there's some like chests to go and like look at, and obviously you'll go through the pots and stuff. And you can see I've repeated this old man that's kind of just in place of where I could have some NPCs. I probably need a few more just outside walking around. I'd probably do that. There you can see my old man. He's actually up here because I based him off this guy because I figured, oh, he'd have a cane. Very simple old man, which I think is good. I think the NPCs in the town, you'd really want them to be simple, because your heroes will be like elaborately dressed and looking cool, and then like you've got little old man here, then obviously I'll do like a man, woman, elderly woman, some kids or something. The possibilities are endless. Yeah, and I didn't really have a plan in mind when I made the town. To be honest, I think I should have recorded me constructing the town, and I could have time-lapsed that maybe, because I think that's something that maybe will look quite nice. Maybe I'll do that. I intend to make another map today. Maybe one thing that will really take you for surprise if you attempt to do something like this, like making tiles and then laying out in the map, is that from the start, it will always look much worse than you think it will end up looking. You kind of gotta teach yourself to not be so critical of your work until you've put the final picture together, and then you can take steps to build on it more. You can get quite overwhelmed if you attempt perfection from the start, and really there's no need to, because it would be so easy for me to take one of these tiles, edit it, and yeah, make it better. One thing I'm a little about is the ground. You can see it's grass, but there's kind of like, it's kind of scuffed grass, you know. There's like twigs or some dirt kicked up. And I tried a few variations of this. So it's flat green. Well, this is what it was originally, and I toned it down slightly because I thought that maybe that was a bit too noisy. This is what flat green looked like, and I don't like the flat green. That could probably work if I had a lot more of like these flowers or variations on flowers covering more of it, but that's a no-go from me. And then I also tried to repeat the more detailed like little flower tile I've got, but if I really wanted this to be Flower Town, then maybe, but I found that was a bit too oppressive, so I kind of settled back on this. As I mentioned, the walls are just recolors of the prison. It's very dark now. I think I got to do a pass on like the colors to make it stand out a bit. I think in general all of the tiles I made yesterday are too dark, and I maybe want to do a bit of like hue shifting to make the colors more interesting. Although like this corally dungeon, if you imagine it being like an underwater themed dungeon, actually looks kind of cool, but I won't know until I make a map out of it. Yeah, but when I went into making this, I didn't like have a plan for like where the buildings would be. I kind of just, well, I drew this little like entry point, and I was like, oh, the exit point will probably be up here, and I'll just weave some path through, you know. I connected them with paths. I put some offshoots where I thought like there would be buildings or something, and I just went with it, you know, no formal plan. I just jumped in, and it looks good. I think the dangers would be making it too symmetrical. It's tempting to want symmetry, but I think you gotta like fight against that to make an interesting map, to be honest, because like in a foresty town like this that isn't overly developed, it's not like a cityscape with like very intense residential areas or something. Like it's like a little poverty town, you know. Naturally it wouldn't, with most things in nature as well, you know, it wouldn't be well planned or symmetrical, you know. So, you know, I've got like these wild growths of grass everywhere, and the flowers are spread out, and I've got the little trees and the big trees, you know. Yeah, but I think it looks pretty okay. I want to make another map, I think. I also need to think about what happens when the camera, say instance if my dude's here and the camera's like that, what things on the outside of the camera will look like, because I'm not prepared to have the camera restrict itself inside the bounds of the map. And obviously all the maps I make are going to have borders and stuff, but what I'm thinking is it'll just be a background that has this repeated tree, and it will like repeat endless maybe. But if that's too oppressive, then I can just repeat endless of the ground. Something will repeat endlessly, you know. It might actually not look so good if I allow the player to come this close to the wall, because it might just be a spot where there's too much dead space on the camera. But that's one of the advantages of being so restrictive with the size of the screen originally, because if I had the game fully zoomed out, then and you got to the side of the screen, then like practically half of like your whole monitor would just be like repeated trees or whatever. Aha, see, I'm a genius. Yeah, anyway, that's all I've done. So the next thing is I'll probably just make a map out of this stuff. I'll catch you guys on the flip. Okay, I'm back. This is kind of another mock-up of the cliffs. It looks more like just a cave than cliffs, which is alright, I suppose, but I think to do cliffs I'd need like to differentiate the top of the cliffs from the bottom, because it all kind of just looks like the same rocky wall, but it looks okay. So this is what I've done today, my two maps, and these are more mock-ups. They're not necessarily files I'm going to put straight into the game, because I want to start thinking about how I'm actually going to get my maps into the game, and it's definitely not going to be from hand making them like this and putting them in for the most part, I don't think. I'll need to have some kind of map editor myself to make it a lot faster. The maps are quite simplistic, they're all confined to grid and they've all got pretty limited assets, so I could probably do something similar to what I did with Mirror Angel's Paradise, where I just take in like a small colored file and each color corresponds to a tile, and then when it's read in it compares the colors to my tile rules and creates the map like that. Yeah, I haven't thought that far ahead. I think I'm okay with these mocked up. What will I do tomorrow? It's the truck dude. He's back. Again. Ooh, I might do some programmy Grammy tomorrow.